Morning. Good afternoon, everyone. I am checking to see if I am live now on Instagram. I've got to hope so. Not quite sure. Let me see if I am. I'm Hank Philippi Ryan. It's 12:30 p.m. Eastern, and this is First Chapter Fun. And I'm looking to see if I am live on Instagram. And it says it's thinking about it here. Let me try this one more time. Oh my goodness. This is never a dull moment, is it? And that's good. Now we are checking the connection on Instagram. It's thinking about it. And here I am on Instagram, and here I am on Facebook. And I see Tracy, and she's saying, hey. So that's good. So all good now. Live here on Instagram, live here on Facebook. And in this part of the tiny little world of First Chapter Fun, everything is dandy and normal and just as it should be. I see Shelby and Danny and Glennie Glitter on Instagram, so we welcome you this morning. And Dale, Marjorie Rutherford, and Hannah Mary McKinnon, of course. My partner in fictional crime is on Facebook as usual, and here's Marilyn and Hannah on Instagram. So that is great. And our little universe is here. I hope you're all doing well this morning. Hi, Beth. That's so nice to see you. Hope you're all doing well this crazy morning. I mean, it's one of those things where we're lucky to be together and we're lucky to be weathering this craziness, right? My husband, I'm just welcoming you all as you come, as I see the numbers going up and up and up, and it's so nice to see you all this morning. Cat Law and Bookopotamus, it's so nice to see you this morning, and Kate, Kate Hole. Um, my husband came in a little while ago. I'm Hank Philippi Ryan, let me just say, and this is First Chapter Fun on Thursday, and we are here for episode 123, which is very fitting. In a minute, I'll tell you why. Just wanted to say that I'm so glad that you're here this morning. If you're new, that's fantastic. We love having new visitors and part of our community, the community that Hannah Mary McKinnon started way back last March, if you can believe it. And I'm Hank Philippi Ryan, and we're glad to see you all, new and veterans. So many wonderful people have been with us for such a long time. Catlaw and Glennie and Beth and Tracy Clark, whose book we have read, which are fabulous, and Jen Jumba is here. Yeah, Jen is saying, thank goodness for First Chapter Fun, such a balm. I mean, it is. My husband came in this morning as I was getting ready to go on this morning, and he's so cute, and he's a criminal defense attorney, and he's kind of a tough guy. But he came in and he said to me in this sort of sweet little voice, "Oh, I see so many more um, people have come. Mindy Mejia is here, and that's whose book we are reading this morning, Strike Me Down by the fantastic Mindy Mejia." And we are so glad that she is here today. Judy Rose and Carol Johnson and Carrie, who's saying it's snowy in Michigan and taking a break from reading Airtime to watch. Oh, that's so great. My book, Airtime. And it's so nice to hear. Thank you. Very good. Thank you. And Cindy and Deborah and Glennie and oh my goodness, yes. So, Diane. So I was saying that my husband came in a little while ago as I was getting ready to set up for this morning, and he said, in this sort of tentative voice, "Are you going to say anything?" And it was interesting because I had just been sitting here at my desk in Boston thinking, what am I going to say? You can't not say anything. I mean, it's just such a tectonic thing that happened in the United States yesterday, so disturbing and so unsettling and so terrifying, very life changing. And Mindy is saying this is exactly the respite I needed. And I do think it is a place for us to come together and see that there is a sense of, I don't know, what the bar is low, non-insanity, reason, honesty, straightforwardness, democracy. I mean, you have to remember that at the same time this insurrection, this craziness was happening in Washington, D.C., there was a Democratic election underway in Georgia, which showed that that democracy in the United States perseveres throughout. And we just have to hope that saner minds prevail and that people stay safe. And how fragile this whole thing is. And that is the other reason. Jen Jumpa is saying kindness. Yeah, it's a virtual group of friends, says Beth, and we are all in this. I mean, it sounds, how many times can we say we're all in this together? But that's why First Chapter Fun is here, to let us know that we are a community, and we are good, and we are kind, and we are good people, and we are thoughtful people, and we are caring people. I see Christy Barrett, here on Facebook, which is fantastic. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You should really go buzz over to Christy Barrett's reading group, and please Christy, please put on Facebook what your reading group is, because everybody should just buzz over there, and you will know that a novel bee is a wonderful place to be, and you can come up with all the buzzy words that you like. But welcome, Christy. She said she's here because Mindy Mejia is here, and that is why we are all here today, to hear Strike Me Down by Mindy Mejia, a terrific book, which is now out in paperback. Which is fantastic. So happy to see that in paperback now. And now a word from our sponsor. The First to Lie is now out in this gorgeous trade paperback. So you have two purchases to make today. The First to Lie in trade paperback, and Strike Me Down, our book of the day by the fabulous Mindy Mejia, which is also now in paperback. So that is so great. Anne Garvin is here. She will be here with her new book coming up very soon. Welcome, Anne. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And Carol Johnson and Hannah is here. You know, it is interesting, and somebody just said on Facebook, please keep this politics free. And we don't typically get involved in politics, but this isn't politics. You know, this is safety and freedom, and this is, we need to acknowledge that something happened. Yes, we are a safe community here, and yes, we talk about books, and yes, we talk about authors, and yes, we share our love for reading, but we live in the real world, and that is much as we are going to say about it. As much as we're going to say about it now. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Thanks for being here today. You know the scoop if you've been here at First Chapter Fun before. Who knows whether Facebook or Instagram may decide to go a little wacky on us. If it does, we will read the chapter over, so you will get the full benefit and the full value of this wonderful first chapter. We will put it on IGTV here on Instagram and here on Facebook, in our media, in our videos, and you will be able to watch all 123 first chapters, which we have happily brought to you. It's so funny because this is episode number 123, as I was saying, for Strike Me Down by Mindy Mejia. And it's so much fun because, you know, Strike Me Down is a financial thriller. And so it's so funny that it's counting, and we have 1, 2, 3. I sort of see those numbers everywhere. They're so beautiful. Numbers are so beautiful. And that's sort of partly what Strike Me Down is about. I see Sharon During, that we have read her book here, and it is fantastic. And Kat Law is saying hi, Mindy Mejia, and Gabriel Valjean is here, and that is wonderful. Lynn is saying, and we are tough, and we all will get through this unsettling time. That is absolutely hilarious. Hannah is saying 1, 2, 3. I know, isn't that hilarious? So we are very pleased to read this book to you today, the first chapter, a little bit more than the first chapter of Mindy Mejia's Strike Me Down. So now that we have all gathered and we have all known that we're safe here and acknowledged that the world is a little bit different today than it was yesterday in some ways. So let me tell you, I met Mindy Mejia, and Mindy, I want you to remind me if this is right. Did we meet at the Twin Cities Book Festival? Is that where it was? I remember being with you, and wherever it was, I mean, you all have to know, First Chapter Funners, that Mindy Mejia, wherever it was treated like this rock star. She would walk into a room, and there'd be a buzz like, oh, that's Mindy Mejia. Have you read that book? So it was really fun to hang out with Mindy at wherever this was. I think it was the Twin Cities Book Festival, and we had, as always, a great time. And someday, hey, Grace from Ottawa is here today, and Susan is here welcoming Mindy, and Shannon Hansen is giving 4 hearts. Yes, that is great. We are happy that you are here today. And Helene is saying, yes, we need to acknowledge our real world. It doesn't take away from our love of books. Perfect, perfect, perfect. That is exactly right, and that is why we are here. And as Hannah says, Strike Me Down. I fully agree. Is a fantastic book. So without further ado, although I know Jen Jumba loves the ado, and we do too, and that's why we are here today. So let me tell you a little bit about Mindy Mejia and a little bit about Strike Me Down. Ready for this? You have your tea, you have your water, you have your coffee. I see so many people here this morning. Wordplay in the Twin Cities. That's where it was, the Wordplay Festival in the Twin Cities. And it was so much fun. And I think, was that the place where they had a guy dressed as Waldo from Where's Waldo, wasn't it? And we looked out the window, and there's this crowd of people underneath the window gathering for the Wordplay Book Festival. And we looked downstairs from the second story window, and there's this Where's Waldo guy in a group of people. And I'm like, there's Waldo. We found him. We actually found him. I took a million pictures of it because the idea of a real Where's Waldo was just the funniest thing in the world. And then to see him in the group of people, it was very meta. Anyway, I will stop talking about that at least and tell you a little bit about Mindy Mejia. Mindy Mejia's internationally acclaimed thrillers have been translated into more than 20 languages. Her books have been picked for People's Best New Books, that's People Magazine, Best New Books, and listed in the Wall Street Journal's Best New Mysteries. She's a CPA and a graduate of the Hamline University MFA program, so that's quite the combination. She lives and works in the Twin Cities. So here again is the cover, the gorgeous, sinister green cover, of course, because it's about money and power, of Strike Me Down from Emily Bestler Books, which we read with the publisher's permission and gratefully with Mindy Mejia's permission. We're so pleased that Mindy is here today, and Hannah and I are dear friends of hers. Robin is saying, I can't wait to meet Jen Jumba in the real world when we go back to normal life. Yeah, we are all going to congregate at the Cuyahoga Public Library, Cuyahoga County Public Library near Cleveland, where Jen holds sway. And we will have the World First Chapter Fun Convention at Jen's house. No? Is she saying no? She's saying yes. Anyway, or somewhere like that. We will do it. I can't wait to meet you all in person. I think that would be so much fun. Oh, Mindy is saying the Rock Bottom Remainders played Wordplay too. Do you know the Rock Bottom Remainders? That is so right. That is Stephen King's group. And there was, who was it? Was Scott Turow there that day? I forget who else was in the band because everybody was focused on watching Stephen King play. And he sang Papa Oomau Mau and The Bird, and it was crazy. And it was quite the rite of passage, wasn't it, Mindy, to hear the Rock Bottom Remainders? Yes, she is saying, I first met Hank outside First Avenue, which is Prince's club in Purple Rain. So the whole world is just crazy connected, and I'm very grateful for that day and that weekend at Wordplay Festival. That was great. So yeah, Stephen King, Scott Turow, and Amy Tan. And here we all were, all of us, sort of fans in this audience, on the floor where there's no seats, it's just a crowd. Can you even imagine? Someday I will tell you, boys and girls, about crowds and how we were all together in one place, listening to music, and it will happen again. It will happen again. So, okay, here we go. You all are distracting me with your wonderful stories, but that is the great part about First Chapter Fun. All right, so now I'm going to totally tell you about Strike Me Down. Nora Trier catches thieves. As a forensic accountant and partner in her downtown Minneapolis firm, she's unearthed millions of stolen dollars in every corner of the world. She prides herself on her independence, the most essential currency of accounting, until her firm is hired by strike. Strike is the anti-corporate, feminist, athletic empire owned by Logan Russo, a brash and legendary kickboxer, and her marketing genius husband, Greg Abbott. They're about to host a major kickboxing tournament with $20 million in prize money. Days before the tournament begins, it's discovered that the prize money is missing. When Nora is hired to find both the thief and the money, she must hide a secret tie to Strike that threatens her independence and pulls her into a world of powerful ambitions and dangerous obsessions. Now, you need to know, before you hear the beginning of Strike Me Down, that Minneapolis has this incredible warren of corridors, of tunnels, above ground tunnels that connect the buildings. So there's this whole, it's like second floor sidewalks, second story sidewalks that connect the buildings, because it's so cold there that prevents people from having to go outside when it's so cold. So the buildings are connected by these walkways, these covered walkways. So it's like this above ground maze in Minneapolis. And what a fantastic setting for a novel. You have to admit that's just quite the thing. And that's where some of Strike Me Down takes place. You all are so distracting. Your wonderful comments are so distracting, and I will read them all later, because now I want to focus on Mindy and her wonderful Strike Me Down. Skyways, Sharon is saying. Yeah, skyways, that's what they're called. That is the word that I was searching for so unsuccessfully, skyways. So you can imagine that. And Michelle is saying, it's huge. I got lost in that maze. It would be so otherworldly, wouldn't it, to be in this maze of second story sidewalks. So the world is happening underneath you. At the same time, cars and trucks going by, and then people upstairs. Judy Singer says she's used those walkways. And Grace is saying, the same covered walkways in Winnipeg, Manitoba, long winters. And Hannah is saying we have the same thing in Toronto, but underground. It's called The Path. Whoa. Has there been that in your books yet? Your books take place in the United States. We'll talk about that. You all are distracting me again. This is because you guys are so interesting. All right, I'm going to read. See, here's the book. I'm going to read this. All right, Gabriel saying, I didn't know about the maze. Now we're on it. Okay. Done. All right, so I'm going to read you a little bit more than the first chapter of Strike Me Down by Mindy Mejia, because I want you to get the full feeling of it. And the first chapter is a little bit short, so I'm going to give you some extra. All right, it begins with the heading Nora. Oh, I better put my glasses on, right? I could do it without it, but whatever. I'm going to do this. All right, so here we go. Nora. Numbers, like people, have no inherent quality. Their value lies only in their relation to others and what they represent. Good, bad, strong, weak. These are descriptions given by the counter. The counter weaves a story into the numbers, a narrative combining quantity and quality, fact and fiction. Numbers by themselves are invisible, much like the counters. Take 50,000. In and of itself, the number had no significance, but add a resource, people, and a quality, frenzied, and now the number mattered. 50,000 confused and frantic people, all looking for one person, the counter, her. Nora rushed through the promenade. Her name is Nora Trier. She's in the stadium, and we need your help to locate her as a person of interest regarding Logan Russo's disappearance. The voice boomed over the sound system, reverberating off the glass dome. Tides of shock swept through the stadium as the news sank in. Logan Russo, legendary athlete and feminist icon, the hero they'd all flocked to see and cheer with during tonight's championship fight, was missing. Her Twitter account was silent, and her Instagram dark. The police had searched her penthouse apartment, finding nothing except broken glass and blood. And Nora was the reason she was gone. Nora pulled a clip out of her hair and shook the dark blonde length into her face. People stood up in their sections, craning their necks and pointing in every direction, keeping as far to the side of the walkway as possible. Nora donned reading glasses, clipped her strike badge to her jacket, and lifted her phone to her ear. Everyone she passed peered at her. She returned each look with equal and unabashed suspicion, while speaking rapidly to no one. At the Skyway exit, 2 security guards checked the few people who were already leaving, holding their phones up against the faces filtering out into the dark Minneapolis night. When one of the guards tilted his phone, she saw her own picture on the screen. "No, I've already worked 60 hours this week, and I'm not putting in any more overtime." She flashed her badge irritably at one of them, who hesitated before Nora leaned in and whispered, "Screw this bitch, right?" Grunting, he waved her past. She'd gotten 20 paces into the skyway that stretched long and almost empty, a shadowy tunnel suspended in midair, when her phone buzzed and a series of messages started popping up. "They live-streamed it. Now, get out of there. Now, where are you?" The bridge crossed over the top of an intersection where squad car lights flashed. She was texting back when a voice sounded behind her. "Nora!" For 40 years, she'd been invisible, a quality she'd not only taken for granted, but turned into her greatest asset. She was the unseen eye, the counter nobody counted, who wove numbers into dark and avaricious stories. Her breath hitched in her chest as she looked back and saw it, the figure standing with the security guards and pointing at her from the other end of the bridge. The other people walking back to their condos and high-rises started yelling and lifting their phones. A few of them hurried toward her, but they were incidental. It was the one who'd alerted them she cared about, the one who might have been following her the whole time. He broke into a sprint the moment their eyes met. Turning, Nora pushed through a set of double doors and barreled into the maze of abandoned passageways, the second-story city, her only hope. She wasn't invisible anymore. Okay, so you want more than that. You need to have more than that, because that is just the opener, because this says Nora 1 week earlier. So here comes a little bit of info from Strike Me Down. Nora 1 week earlier. Fraud kills. Nora allowed the words time to land on the crowd, a full audience of mostly 20-somethings with brand new CPA licenses still crisp inside their wallets. You've all heard at some point in your lives the lie that fraud is a white-collar crime, a victimless crime. She paced the length of the stage, heels marking the distance between the darkened aisles. Sam White was the founder and co-president of Computech, a microchip manufacturer that weathered the tech crash with little more than a shrug and a few treasury stock purchases. They employed 10,000 people and maintained manufacturing facilities in China, Mexico, and Ohio, with headquarters in Minneapolis. The screen behind Nora flashed to a wall-sized scene of a rocky beach where a group of people squinted into the sun. 2 teenage boys corralled a pair of dogs, while a middle-aged couple, both fit and wearing their gray with ease, corralled the boys. The entire family was frozen mid-laugh. Sam White built Computech from his parents' garage into a Fortune 500 company in less than 2 decades. For 5 years, they boasted the highest gross profit percentage in the tech sector worldwide, until a whistleblower inside the company exposed a major misstatement scheme. The SEC opened an investigation into the securities fraud. Share prices plummeted, and 3 weeks after the scandal broke in the Wall Street Journal, Sam White shot himself in the head. The room, massive as it was, had fallen completely silent. No one sipped their complimentary coffee. No one checked their phones. 200 faces stared at the one smiling down at them, the larger-than-life father hugging his son to his dead chest. Nora glanced at the picture, a familiar swill of emotion clotting her throat, but her voice carried as clearly as she swiveled back to the young accountants, eager to kickstart their careers. Sam White was 47 years old when he died. Computech declared bankruptcy less than 2 months into the SEC investigation, and thousands of people lost their jobs, including me. I was the whistleblower. Okay, now, are you not in that story right now? Does she not take you there totally? And with that beginning, and then rewinding to a week before, you know that you are about to read an amazing adventure. One that not only has two incredibly powerful women mano a mano as main characters, but a wonderful, timely story. Diana is saying, ooh, and Catlaw is saying, whoa. It's interesting because caribou coffee. It's interesting because, yes, Kate is saying, whoa, so good. This, one of the things I love about Mindy Mejia's book, and again, that was just the beginning of Strike Me Down by the fabulous Mindy Mejia. Sharon is saying, I love it, Mindy, and we do too. The cool part about, so many cool parts about this book, but the dueling strong women is kind of amazing. The big bucks financial scheme, the action and the big picture action and the small picture action, how important accounting is, and forensic accounting and high finance. And this book, even if you don't, especially if you don't know anything about high finance and accounting, this book makes you feel so smart. It makes the reader feel so smart. Mindy Mejia does such a terrific job of introducing us to this world of high finance and how much intrigue and how sinister it can be, and how smart people are on either side of the equation. So highly, highly, highly recommended. Strike Me Down by the fabulous Mindy Mejia. I'm so pleased to read that today. And Robin is saying, so gripping from the get-go. Oh, absolutely. And so cinematic too. Can't you just picture that? You can really just picture that chase through the skyways of Minneapolis. It's just great. It's just great. Ellie is saying, loved it. Mindy is saying, you are the master of two powerful women going mano a mano. I know. Thank you. That's very nice of you. I wondered, even as I said it, could two women go mano a mano? But that, ladies and gentlemen, is a discussion for another time. It is coming up to 1 o'clock now, and we try to keep this to half an hour so you all could go back to your real life, even though this life may be a little bit safer. Vicky is saying, great read, needed this today. Shannon's saying, definitely going to read it. Judy's saying, wow beginning. Yes, it is a wow beginning, and a wow middle, and a wow end as well. Jen is saying, now this is cool. This is great when you work in a library. Jen is saying, I have it in my hand right now, straight from the library shelves. So that's pretty cool. That's great. All right, everyone. We are so pleased that you are here today to join Hannah Mary McKinnon and me on First Chapter Fun. I'm Hank Phillip Urian. We are so pleased that you are staying with us. So pleased that so many more people are coming every day. Tell your friends. We'd love to have them. There's room for everyone here. Next Tuesday on First Chapter Fun, we will read, look at this, you luckies, Kaz Freer's Shed No Tears. Have you read Kaz Freer? She has a wonderful PI main character who is the main character of this book as well, but you can read them in any order. On Tuesday, I'm trying to get the light out of this cover to no avail. Kaz Freer, the fabulous, glamorous Kaz Freer, whose third book, Shed No Tears, we will read on Tuesday. So thank you so much for being with us here today. We love you madly, and we are so grateful that I know Catlaw is saying Shed No Tears by Kaz Freer. It rhymed, and I knew it the minute I said it. That's why reading out loud helps. Diane is saying thank you. Oh my goodness, thank you, Diane, and thank everyone for being here today. I can't wait to read all of your comments. It's hard to read. Oh. Let me say, make sure you go to Facebook if you're on Instagram, but ask Mindy questions, whatever you'd like to ask her. She is here to answer them for you here on Instagram and here on Facebook. But on Facebook, on Instagram, the comments go away. So if you have a question for Mindy about kickboxing, which she took kickboxing lessons apparently with some mad success, or a question about accounting or research or money or finances or anything like that, please go to Facebook and ask the questions, because those questions will always be there. Till then, you all, we love you. Till Tuesday, please stay safe, please stay kind, and we will see you next time. Love you.